You're listening to The Aviation Show,
brought to you by DeBella Training.
For more information, contact us on www.debella.co.za now.
And welcome back to The Aviation Show. As you know by now, my name is Des Werner, and the lovely Belinda Werner joining me in the studio. Welcome back.
Yes, every week we're here and we're looking forward to spending some time and looking at a new topic again today.
And today's topic is personalities. We are going to chat about personality. Fascinating topic. I mean, we train it in our courses all the time, and I'd probably think that's the number one kind of topic that the people like the most.
Yeah, it is definitely their number one takeaway that they enjoy, and when you see them months later or years later, they say what a difference it made in their lives. So yeah, that's important.
So how would you say personalities, what has it got to do with aviation per se?
I think it's very similar to speaking a different language. You also get the 5 love languages that we've spoken about, but so is personalities. You know, when we were younger, we battled to understand why the other person did certain things. But as you mature,
grow older,
then you start to accept yourself, your strengths, your weaknesses, because the different personalities will have different strengths and weaknesses. So there's no good and no bad personalities, and we must make that very clear from the beginning.
From word go, yeah.
Personalities have a purpose in a certain area or a certain field.
I enjoy it tremendously. I find it's a fantastic tool, and since we've learned this, I understand you in my personal life a lot better, and I understand the people around me a lot better, just by learning the tools and personalities.
I suppose when you say the people around you, that would also include your co-pilots, it would include the air hostesses that fly with you, the ground staff. So wherever you go, you can apply the information that we're about to share with you.
Definitely. But this whole lot started way back when the Tenerife accident happened. And that's when they actually decided that they've got to do CRM, which at that point was cockpit resource management. And then it's turned into crew resource management, which includes the air hostesses. And then on the maintenance side,
we do human factors.
We do maintenance, human factors, which is exactly the same thing. But it all came back down to that one accident where the 2 jumbo jets collided on the runway.
Which is still the biggest aviation accident.
500 odd people killed. Wow.
Yeah, 580, I think it was.
And they weren't even really in the air. So it's very, very sad.
Yeah.
But that's what our mission is, and that's why we're so passionate about these personality things, is if you can prevent that accident, because that was a fully preventable accident.
It was, definitely. And if the people concentrated or focused more on how to make the airline industry better, it wouldn't have happened. But everything happens for a reason, and we had to learn from that. And that's so wonderful about the aircraft accident investigations, is the purpose of an aircraft accident investigation is not for legal liability, it is for safety and prevention.
Preventing it happening again. So let's kick off. If you're listening to the show, we'll divide this into we can just draw a horizontal and a vertical line. So that's going to make a cross. And then you're going to have 4 blocks in that cross.
Yeah, each quadrant, yes.
Let's start off with the top left-hand one, which would be the...
I think before we get to the different categories or different quadrants, a person needs to scale themselves on this cross. So if you take your horizontal line and from the right-hand side to the left, you number it 0 to 10.
So 0 on the right and 10 on the left.
Extreme right and 10 on the extreme left, which will make 5 in the middle of your scale. And then the same happens from the bottom, 0, to the top, 10.
Okay. Now, if you're listening to this, it might sound very complicated, but we just by asking to yourself 2 questions or your spouse 2 questions, you can roughly, and I emphasize roughly, determine what their personality is. You know, you can go into an in-depth test and find out exactly what their personalities are. However, I'm not a huge believer in going too deeply, because I think we're all individuals and everybody's
obviously. I heard a nice thing the other day. It said, if you want to see how different people are, just go stand at the end of a buffet line and see the different combinations of food and stuff. And that is exactly our personalities. We like certain things, we don't like certain things, we like certain things a lot, and other things we don't dish up at all. So that is exactly what...
Grandfather always used to say to me, "Oh man, how can you have chips on a sandwich?" And that's just a personal taste.
And
So yeah, you can't get into. I don't believe you can get into somebody's head that precisely. But don't worry.
You can see the dominance
dominant
in a
personality, yeah.
certain area, and then you know better how to speak to that person, what is important to them, what's not important to them, how to approach them. So that is what it's important. So if we now have our cross numbered from 0 to 10 from right to left, and then from the bottom to the top 0 to 10 as well. Then we will start now with the different quadrants. The top left block would be our red personality.
So there where those two intersect. So now we've chosen a number on the horizontal scale, for example. So you got to 7. You draw that line vertically, and on the top one, you would do exactly the same. When there where those two lines intersect, that's going to make you fall in that quadrant.
Yes.
It's a little bit difficult to kind of explain it on
Yeah.
audio.
Okay. So, sorry, I went ahead and was 2 steps ahead already. But, okay, on our cross now, on the horizontal line, the 0 to 10 from right to left, on that scale, how much of an introvert or an extrovert are you? So if you are more introverted, you would be right side of the line. And if you're more extroverted, you would be on the left of the line. Now, people often say, I don't know if I'm extrovert or introvert. And it is actually quite easy. If you get drained by being around people, your energy levels lower, then you're more likely to be introvert. And if you
get energized by people
and don't mind being around people, then you will be more on the extroverted side. So on a scale of 0 to 10, where do you fall?
And for the Blue Bull supporters out there, you're not allowed to be a drought sitter. You're not allowed to choose 5. So it's either got to be a 6 or it's got to be a 4. You can't be on the fence.
And it's also not after 6 beers, because then everybody is extroverted.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, very clever.
So then once you've chosen that, you're going to get to a figure like I've just explained. Say, for example, let's just call it for argument's sake 7. So you will draw a line down there. And then we go on the horizontal scale. Hey? So
Yes. Yeah, so then on the up and down line, we then have 0 to 10 again. And how organized are you? This is the line that tells you how organized you are. So 0 will be totally chaotic, and then 10 will be a pain perfectionist. Okay, so on there, choose a number of 0 between 0 and 10, and then dot the line across, and then connect the 2 lines.
I'll tell you what I'm going to do is on the podcast I'll actually load the little cross, and then you can see the quadrants with the different colors. It'll make it way easier.
Yes.
How about that for our idea?
That is fantastic. All right, so now that we know where our lines crossed, it means that we fall in one of these quadrants. And as I said already, the top left-hand one will be our red quadrant, which is...
Danger. Red is for danger. Stop.
Red is for danger.
Be very careful of those people.
Yeah, the red category makes very good managers. CEOs, because they're quick to make decisions, and the decisions they make is normally very good. The challenge with them is they normally seem to be out of touch with emotions.
But they're also known as GSDs, eh?
Yeah.
Get stuff done.
Yes, that's exactly. Yeah, so that is, they are very goal orientated. They focus, they don't communicate that well because the plan and the result they have in their head, and they just want the results.
And they're generally very busy people, don't waste their time. So when you walk into a red person's office, you need to explain to them exactly what you want and be gone. They don't want to waffle on about all sorts of stuff.
No, definitely
we'll talk about that a little bit later, between the differences in the colors.
Yeah. The next one to the right, so your top right-hand corner, that would be your blue personality. What is blue a color of, would you say?
I don't know, but blue people are wonderful. I've got a bit of blue in myself, so they are fantastic
Yeah,
people.
definitely fantastic.
Actually, before we go on, you can be a combination. You're going to probably find yourself being a combination of these different quadrants. So you can't say I'm a true blue. It can happen, but generally you're going to be a mixture. You're going to have some of all of them in here. So we'll just cover the main characteristics, and then we'll talk about it a little bit further in depth.
Yeah.
But the blue guys are generally the bookkeepers. They're very good at paperwork. They want it in duplicate and triplicate.
They also like systems.
Very much system stuff. And they want proof. So if you say to a blue person, I'm going to come to a bar tonight, he'll say, send me a SMS or send me an email. And they're very punctual people, as are red people. Red people are very punctual. Blue people are as punctual as well. So they are really worried about time to the second. So, I mean, if a blue person, if you're 2 minutes late, you're probably going to get a phone call. Where are you? Why are you so late?
No.
And then, what else are they good at? Paperwork, eh?
They're very good at paperwork, and a blue person also makes very good decisions, just like a red person, but they take way longer.
So they analyze everything. So
They analyze and they want to research it, and then they want proof of why they made the decision. And that's why when you said they want everything in writing, that is so true, because they want to prove to themselves why they made a decision that they came to.
And they're the type of people that will read the new DVD player's book from back to front, and
Then
find
you're
out
definitely
exactly
not
what it can
blue.
do. Yeah, that's why I've got a little bit of blue. in there.
Not much.
Right, so moving right on to the green quadrant.
The green quadrant is right below the blue quadrant then, so that would then be the bottom right quadrant. The green people, green peas, loving, caring, that type of...
Green grass, nature, trees.
Yes. A green person is very bad at making decisions. They struggle to make decisions.
But out of the whole lot, they're lovely people. They care about other people. They're other people's people.
Very much.
They will sacrifice everything so that you are happy.
Yes.
So they make very good public relations officers, game rangers, when it comes to looking after animals, save the environment, that type of stuff. That would fall
And
into
it's
that.
very important. In the corporate world, quite often you would find them in human resources because they want to look after the well-being of the people.
Exactly.
Want to make sure the people are happy. The challenge is they often put other people's happiness
Ahead of
before their own
Yeah.
and before that of their immediate family.
Okay.
Yeah, so that can be challenging. And quite often, because they battle so much with decision making, they will change their mind.
So they'll commit to something. So I'm going to be there, and then they'll decide, actually, I can't be there. And then at the last minute, they change their mind. Yeah, that's not so cool. But anyway.
Yeah, that's
So
how it is. That's why we said right from the beginning, no good, no bad personalities. Just because it's not your personality,
It doesn't make it wrong.
it doesn't
Yeah.
make it wrong. So the last personality in the overview is the yellow personality, which will then be the bottom left quadrant.
They're also wonderful people. You
They
can
are.
hear them before you get to the party with the door closed. They're so loud.
That is true. That is so true. Quite often they fit very well into sales representative positions.
Selling is this huge strength.
Very
yeah.
good. But people often find them dishonest. But it's actually not that they're dishonest. They're just so disorganized that
Yeah,
they
but
forget to put their promises into a system. And then that's what makes the people think they're dishonest.
But the nice thing about a yellow person's car, for example, because I always say to my students, I say, have a look at your car. What does your car look like? Or what does your cupboard look like at home? Maybe your car is a better idea. And then you can determine, how organized or how much chaos there is. And a yellow person's car is going to look like an absolute bomb has hit it. So the nice thing about that is no one will ever break into your car because they'll think, oh no, someone's already been here, so let me leave it alone.
And it's normally so dirty you can plant some millies and stuff in it,
Yeah, no, there'll be like beer cans in the back if you're a drinker. Yellow people generally are party animals. Totally disorganized. If you're sales rep, there'll be brochures all over the car. Whereas if a blue person has to get in that, they're going to have an absolute fit because that's just goes totally against the grain.
Yeah, no, that is so true. But yellow people are actually excellent at building relationships. So if there's conflict, they actually very, very good to resolve the conflict because they build a relationship with both parties
And
so
they're
quickly.
good at talking to people. So let's bring this whole lot back to aviation. So why is this so important in the aviation industry? As we said right in the beginning, is if you can prevent that accident, you're on the right track. And this is what we're so passionate about, is understanding different personalities, because you get them. And it's as easy now. We've just explained the two questions. So how structured are you, or how much chaos is your life in? And are you an introvert or an extrovert? And by answering those two questions, you'll get into one of those quadrants. And then you can determine my dominant personality, not your only personality. Your dominant personality is one of those four. And once you understand yourself, then you can start understanding the other people.
Exactly.
And I remember we went through this process, and we started saying, wow, okay. And, we lost a hell of a lot of money earlier on in our career. And I was the guy that was doing the sales. So I fell almost into the yellow block, and you were doing the admin.
Which should have been other way around.
Yeah. I won't say because of the admin we lost the money, but because of the combination we lost a lot of money.
Yeah.
And once we turned that around in our own business, and we worked out, okay, but you've got strengths and I've got strengths, and let's harness each other's strengths, and I'll give you what you're good at, because you like doing that. It's your natural flow.
Yeah, it's so true. I always explain it like you're rowing down a river. And if you're going with the flow of the river, you find it quite easily to gain ground if you look at the side of the river. But if you are trying to do something the opposite way, so now you're rowing upstream from the river, you're going to probably manage to gain ground, but it's going to be a lot of effort. And that's exactly the personality thing as well. If you're in your correct personality, you will gain ground much quicker. You will find stuff naturally to do in a
And
easy
stuff
way.
that you enjoy, that you're passionate about, it's easy to do.
Yeah, that's so true.
Cool. Let's go to a quick break, and we'll be back.
DeBella Training and Management provides South African civil aviation approved training to aircraft maintenance engineers. From engine to airframe, DeBella offers international quality courses on a wide range of aircraft. Many of our clients are from Africa and the Far East, enjoying DeBella's tranquil on-site accommodation minutes away from the airport, and also provide courses in your country depending on your training needs. DeBella's pioneering range of practical hands-on training videos augment the DeBella theoretical modules, modernizing the aviation training industry. Visit www.debella.co.za now. DeBella, you name it, we train it.
Well, welcome back to the Aviation Show, coming to you live from 27 Boxes in Melville. And we've just been talking about personalities. So if you're just joining us, the importance of personalities and understanding other people's personalities, how important that is in aviation, and how it can affect actually the safety of the whole industry. So don't think it's not an important subject we're talking about. It's hugely important.
Yeah, it is extremely important. When we think about the aviation industry, we once again think of the pilots and we think of the engineers that have work to do. But if you and your spouse, or you and your girlfriend or boyfriend or whoever had a challenge, a fight, so how do we cope with
resolve that conflict?
Yeah.
And understanding what their personality is and how what makes them tick makes it quite a bit easier. Hey?
It does. It does make it so much easier, because we expect other people to be what we are.
And you can't understand why is that person like that. So let's just look at the different combination. I always explain it like between a red person and a green person. So the red person, remember, they're very efficient. They want the job done now. They want to get to the bottom of it very quickly. Green people are people orientated. They care about the environment. They care about everybody else. So green person, you walk into their office, they'll probably have pictures up of their family. They might have a plant on their table, save the rhino, that type of stuff. And the red person, as I say, is just goal orientated, wants to get the job done. So now the green person knocks on the red person's door, walks in there, and he says, "And how's your mother?
And your cat?"
Yeah, and your sick child, and how you doing?" And the red person says, "What do you want? I'm busy."
Yeah. And the green person feels offended because they expect them to treat them in the same way that they would treat people.
Yeah, like in the red person, if he goes now to the green person's office, he just chucks down a file on his desk and said, I need this by 12 o'clock, and he leaves. And then the green person says, but you didn't even ask how my sick mother is, or how my dog is, or how I am, and you just leave. You're so damn rude.
Yeah, no, and that is just, there's nothing wrong. They just don't understand and don't speak the other one's language.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So what would you say, I mean, you do this all the time, what did you say pilots and engineers, what are their dominant personality, and what is really their dominant personality? Because a lot of people put down what they want to be, but what are they actually?
I think it's a very personal thing. What I find is a lot of engineers are blue. They like the systems, they like their information to be in order. They want to see evidence of how to do it. But so are the pilots. They're probably between the blue and
Blue
the
and
red.
So they're kind of purple. What does
Yes.
blue and red make purple?
Yeah, yes. We hope so. Yeah, so they between the blue and the red. Yeah, but as I said right from the beginning, there's no good and no bad personalities.
But the nice thing about understanding this whole thing is if you can understand your co-workers, you can automatically make it safer, because you can say, he's red or he's yellow. And, once we explain this on the courses, and the people actually have quite a good laugh, because they identify the yellow people straight away, because their workbench or their toolbox or whatever is in chaos, their desk, for example. They'll stick their hand in there and they'll put out a piece of paper. They know where it is, but
nobody else does.
To the blue people, it's absolute chaos.
It is.
And but that's what's so fun, is once you start getting this thing right, and understanding your co-workers, understanding your wife, and even your kids. I mean, your kids, you can also start picking up these traits, not from early, because it changes. So when would you say is like an ideal time to do it?
I think right from the beginning you can pick up certain things. They might go from blue to red, but they don't normally go from organized to disorganized. So, you can pick it up quite early.
But another thing about this is it changes over time. You might be blue today, and then over a period of time starts becoming a little bit more red, or one.
But you will always have your certain personality traits.
But you can, as you develop yourself, you can change. I always thought it's fixed. That's what I am. That's basically what you are, but you can kind of grow.
You can grow, and you must also realize that some emotional baggage that you're carrying with you might cause you to, say, be introverted, where you're actually extroverted, but you're just too shy or too scared to say something, where you actually are more comfortable in being an extrovert. Yeah.
And once you realize it, then you're suddenly like, okay, this is how it works. But an interesting thing that we did lately was determining your values. And anybody listening, there's a guy called Werner Frinneman. He's absolutely brilliant. So if you want his number, his company is called Majavi. So if you want his number, you can either contact me at des@debela.co.za, and I'll pass it on to you. But he aligns your values. So what you value, what is important to you, with what are you doing, the things that you're doing, because that comes back to, why are you doing what you're doing? Is it passion? Is it, I just do it because I have to do it? Where do you think that fits in?
I think that would be what you're prepared to do for certain outcomes. I would do a lot of stuff to help people, for example, and that is my highest value, is to contribute to people. So that is.
It's fascinating when you start learning about all of this stuff and how it works. Wow, it's cool.
Then it makes sense why you do a lot of stuff. And once again, there's no good and no bad. It's just understanding yourself so that you can understand other people.
Now, another interesting thing is we did a test called Wealth Dynamics, which Werner can do for you as well. But it determines the 8 wealth-making kind of personalities. So exactly like we've just done with 4, but they went to all the famous guys like Richard Branson and
Bill Gates
and all of these guys.
And your favorite, Charlize Theron.
Oh, of course. And they asked them, how did you make your money? And they all came up with 8 different ways of doing it. So it's like Belinda was saying with the flow. Once you find your wealth flow, then suddenly everything starts clicking into place. And you realize, but I'm not good at admin because I don't need to be good at admin. Get someone else to do the admin and I do what I'm good at. And I think that changed our business around as well, as when we did that test and we realized, wow, but you're good at networking with people and I'm good at planning and the long-term kind of stuff and the structure side of it. Not that I have to do it myself, but I can just keep an eye on it.
Make sure the systems are in place.
And
yes.
once we worked that out, it was like, wow, okay, now it makes sense. And then you combine it with this, you combine it with your values, and it starts becoming really, really interesting. Eh?
Yeah. So to bring it all back is, to understand yourself, you can be safer in your working environment. Being in the hangar as an aircraft engineer, pilot in the cockpit, air hostess back in the cabin, wherever it is, you can make a difference.
So normally you would probably find your engineer is going to be possibly bluish or red, as you said, and then as opposed to your air hostess, most of the time she'll be yellow, hey? Because she's working with people. She should be yellow because she's working with people. How about a green one?
A green one will look after the comfort and safety of the people, so that would also be a good personality. But yeah, you just need to realize your own strengths and weaknesses and work on that.
So you don't really want to be a blue one because that's probably not going to be the best fit, because you're probably going to be shy and you stand at the back of the airplane and you're not going to greet the people and just be bubbly.
And people can feel that.
Yeah, people can definitely feel that. Eh?
Yeah.
Okay. Would you suggest you go and do a personality test?
Yeah, there are lots of different personality tests and different ways of looking at it, and there's just tons and tons of different ways to do it. It's up to you.
I went for an aptitude test and they said to me, become an engineer. And then I said, what about a pilot? And they said, okay, well, kind of fits into the engineer. So you do an aptitude test and come out as an engineer. Pilot would fall in that kind of block. And the same with anything else in aviation. It would give you a good idea to see if it's the right fit.
It is a good idea. But don't be blinded by their options.
Yes. Yeah, and do what you want to do and what's right in your heart and what feels good to you.
Your passion, yes.
Cool. So let's go to a quick story then.
Real aviation stories with Debella.
Submit your real life story to www.debella.co.za.
And you could be featured on the Aviation Show live on brandlive.co.za or in our upcoming book.
Welcome back. This is quite an interesting story. It's actually about personality tests. Sometimes when you go to these big airlines, then you end up with the psychologist where she starts flashing cards at you and saying, what do you see here, and draw pictures there, and how does this fit there, and they're trying to get inside your head. But they're actually just looking for a profile to see if you will fit in with that airline long term. And obviously if you like in sales and you're trying to be something that you're not, they pick that up in the test. So this guy gets this airline, and they've gone through the whole system of looking at the cards and everything else. So eventually she draws a little dot on the piece of paper. So she says to him, what do you see? So I see a naked woman. She says, you're a pervert. So she draws another little dot next. She says, what do you see now? He says, I see two naked women. She says, no. She puts all dots all over the piece of paper, and she says to him, now what do you see now? He says, I see a whole room full of naked women. She says, you're a pervert, get out of here. He says, well, you drawing the pictures.
Yeah, and it is. And like we've said with the previous shows as well, the men and women will see things differently as well. So yeah, it's a very interesting topic. Lots of stuff we can learn.
Yeah, so come on one of our courses maybe, or give us a shout. We can speak to you over the phone about it. But it's a fascinating subject. Determine your personality and give us a good shot. Anyway, that's, I think, all the time we've got for today.
I think so, yes.
So until we meet again, same time, same place, next Tuesday at 3 o'clock. This is Des Werner signing off, and the lovely Belinda.
We'll see you again soon. Bye-bye.
Bye.
You have been listening to The Aviation Show on brandlive.co.za, proudly brought to you by DeBella Training.
Visit www.debella.co.za now.